We're going to continue with our hydration series, and today's topic is the fourth phase of water, aka easy water, which is a super exciting topic for me. I hope you guys agree. And we'll start off with a quick question. You already have a bit of a hint, but how many phases of water would you say there are? So most people are going to agree, and what they learned in school was that there's three phases. So you have your solid or ice state, you have liquid or just like regular drinking water, or gas, which is steam. But another question for you, what would you consider Jello to be? So it seems kind of solid. It's mostly solid, but at the same time, maybe a bit of liquid in there. But if you think about it, there's actually like 95% water in Jello. Most of it is water with just a little bit of gelatin holding it together. So what would you actually call that? And now we have the answer. You would call it the fourth phase or easy zone of water. So this is actually, it's a relatively recent discovery, but this is actually what most of the water in your body is in. It's in this fourth phase state. Most people think of it as just like water sloshing around. It's not quite Jello. That would be like a thicker version of that, but it is a transition between water and ice. And for a deeper dive on this whole topic in general, you can check out Dr. Gerald Pollack. He has a good TED Talk, and he also has a great book if you want to go a little bit more in depth. But very cool, and we're still learning how this actually applies to human health, but we'll get into some of the properties in a moment. So one of the unique things is that it's not actually H2O when it's in this state, it's H3O2. And this creates a liquid crystalline structure with a hexagonal honeycomb kind of pattern, which I'll show you later. Probably the most important aspect of easy water is that it is electrically active. So when it's created, there is a positive and a negative charge, which acts as a battery. And then once you have that polarity, you're able to perform different functions in the body because you have energy. And overall, it has a net negative charge, which is what you want for your body. The body is slightly alkaline. So this might be one of the reasons why, your pH is generally around 7.4. So 7 would be right in the middle, but we're actually slightly alkaline. And I think a big part of this has to do with the amount of easy water in our body. Because our bodies are actually, 99% of the molecules in our body are water. So by weight, depends on how old you are, but we'll say like 60, 70% of your body is water. But if we're counting the actual molecules, 99% of the molecules in your body are water. And they're mostly in this state. So this is that honeycomb lattice that I was mentioning. So when it's in an easy state, it forms these sheets of H3O2. And in Dr. Pollack's lab, they actually showed that if you have easy water, they hooked up some electrodes to it, and they're able to light a bulb, a small bulb. So that's how we know it is. There is some electrical potential there, and you can see behind the picture of the water there. So whenever there is a surface that easy water can form on, there's going to be a negatively charged portion right beside that hydrophilic surface, and then it excludes everything else. So that's why they call it exclusion zone, and that's where you get the positively charged ions. So then that difference in negative and positive, just like a battery, creates the potential for energy. So some of the benefits in the body, obviously energy production. So there's actually a bit of a debate that's been going on for a while. So Gilbert Ling was a scientist, I believe it was quite a while ago. He's passed now, but he actually proved, basically beyond a shadow of a doubt, that it was impossible for ATP production to account for all of the energy needs of our body. So ATP is typically considered to be the energy currency of the body, and it's responsible for performing all these functions. But he was just looking at the sodium-potassium pump, and that alone would require tremendous amounts of ATP, and he ran the calculations. There's no way our body could have produced that much ATP to account for all of that. So there must be another source of energy, and many people believe that this is actually one of the primary sources since we have so much water in the body. So definitely energy production and overall cellular function, which is going to rely on that energy. Improved circulation. So there's another controversial theory is that the heart is not actually a pump. If you think about how long, I don't know the exact number, but it's miles and miles of circulatory vessels that this fluid is going to have to travel through. And at certain points, the capillaries are so small that a red blood cell could barely fit through. So there's no way that this mechanical pump would be able to pump all of that around the body. But one of the ways that it could possibly work through is this function. If you have a self-propelling energy system, with easy water lining the blood vessels, then you could theoretically continue pumping this indefinitely as long as you have that initial source of energy, which I will discuss shortly. And the other benefit, as I mentioned, was that it keeps the body in a slight alkaline state due to its predominant negative charge. So how is it created? I kind of alluded to this, but basically you need to have a hydrophilic surface, which is a water-loving surface. So different proteins in the cell, different membranes, like there's all sorts of things that water could bind to. But you need an external energy source, which is infrared energy, essentially. So that's the primary wavelength or wave range, I guess, that is going to create easy water. And luckily we have the sun, which majority of it is infrared light, and throughout the entire day it has a very constant amount of infrared, even though like the UV is going to fluctuate. Infrared's very constant. And not just the sun, but if you were to get like an infrared camera, you're going to see, humans have basically any living being. There's small amounts of infrared energy everywhere. So that's how we're able to produce easy water quite readily. So the reason, or I should say, the way that we produce it in the body is through our mitochondria. So our mitochondria actually release infrared energy. It's reversing the process of photosynthesis. So when plants, bring in light, they're absorbing that energy, but we actually release it when we're reversing photosynthesis in our mitochondria. So that's pretty cool. Another way that we can create easy water is through earthing. So having your feet touching the earth or touching a tree, for example. Dr. Pollack's lab has shown that that's one way to increase easy water. Human touch, as I said. So glacial water, when glaciers melt, or ice melts in general, it creates more easy water. And then you can also find it in foods. So in particular, fruits and vegetables that are obviously very water rich, but they're naturally in that state. So just to wrap up here with a visual, when we think about the mitochondria, we often hyper-focus on ATP. So this part here, ATP synthase, is the enzyme that produces ATP. And this is what all the textbooks say about how the body produces energy. It's all through ATP, but it's very overlooked that we also produce water. So if you look on the right there, that's one of the byproducts of mitochondrial respiration. And that water is in the easy state. And since it doesn't show on here, but the mitochondria are also producing infrared energy, when they're producing ATP. So you have the water, you have the infrared energy, and that allows for the formation of easy water. So your body is constantly making this as long as you keep your mitochondria intact and in good health, and practice some of the things mentioned above. So these are all very basic things and would just naturally happen if you're in nature. So if you're outside getting natural sun exposure, eating well to take care of your mitochondria, exercising, that sort of stuff, standing barefoot on the earth, which is how we're designed, touching other humans, drinking fresh sources of water. So it's not just glacial water, but different types of spring waters have also been tested and have higher proportions of easy water, having lots of fruits and vegetables, etc. So a lot of very basic things you can do to produce easy water in your body. Okay, and that's it. If you are looking to get a pair of natural blocks, which are high quality blue blocking glasses, we have these are the daytime screen glasses, which are crucial when you're working on a screen all day to block out majority of the blue light and prevent the symptoms of screen fatigue. So if you get headaches or eye strain, any sort of negative issue from being on a screen all day, these can help quite a bit. And then we have our nighttime sleep glasses, which block out all of the blue and part of the green spectrum, which are crucial at night in order for your body to heal and repair and to increase melatonin, which repairs your mitochondria, which then allows you to produce more easy water. So it's all connected. Make sure you're paying attention to your light environment, getting plenty of sunlight during the day and reducing artificial light at night. And that'll be one way to boost the easy water and give your body more energy. All right. Thanks for watching. And as you can see on the screen here, if you use code NATURALFAM at checkout, that will give you 10% off. Thank you. Have a great day.